It was supposed to be a done deal, a World Cup sprawling across North America, uniting the United States, Mexico, and Canada in a grand celebration of soccer. American cities had spent years preparing, pouring billions into stadiums and infrastructure, dreaming of a soccer-fueled economic boom that would bring jobs and tourism. Fans were ready, calendars marked, expecting the world's biggest sporting event to finally cement soccer's place in the U.S., a country where the sport had long struggled for mainstream acceptance. Then, the unthinkable happened. A press release from FIFA in Zurich, less than a year out, changed everything in an instant. FIFA announced a fundamental shift. The United States, the primary host, was out. The final, the glory, all stripped away, leaving fans and officials in utter disbelief. Shockwaves hit instantly, from sponsors' boardrooms to fans' living rooms. It felt like a geopolitical earthquake, shaking the very foundation of American soccer. Mayors who'd boasted of readiness were left scrambling. The dream of a World Cup final at MetLife Stadium vanished overnight, leaving cities to deal with the fallout. All the planning, investment, and hype gone in a flash, leaving behind empty stadiums and broken dreams. The U.S. Soccer Federation was silent, clearly blindsided and unprepared for such a drastic change. Meanwhile, north of the border, Canada, once set to host just a handful of games, was suddenly handed the keys to the entire tournament, a monumental shift in fortune. The world's biggest party was heading exclusively to the Great White North, transforming Canada into the unexpected epicenter of global soccer. For American soccer, it was a day of infamy. For Canada, the dawn of a new era filled with hope and excitement. How did it all unravel so quickly? The answers remain elusive, but the impact will be felt for years to come. To understand this seismic shift in the world of soccer, we need to rewind the tape and look at how the story unfolded from the very beginning. The original United 2026 bid was a marketing triumph, leveraging the US's unmatched infrastructure, Mexico's deep-rooted football passion, and Canada's rapidly growing enthusiasm for the sport. Together, they promised a World Cup that would span a continent and unite millions of fans. The plan was ambitious. The US would host 60 matches, including the grand final, while Canada and Mexico would each get 10 games, ensuring all three nations had a stake in the tournament's success. But behind the scenes, FIFA officials grew increasingly wary of the US, concerned about legal, political, and logistical hurdles that seemed to multiply with every meeting. Their official statements cited insurmountable challenges, federal guarantees, interstate travel, and inconsistent commercial frameworks that threatened to derail the event. Translation: navigating the US system wasn't just difficult, it was nearly impossible for FIFA and its global sponsors who were used to more streamlined deals. The real issue? A culture clash. FIFA expects host nations to hand over the keys, tax breaks, security, and total government support, no questions asked. US laws and bureaucracy proved a nightmare, with endless disputes over visas, taxes, and who would foot the bill for security. Every step forward seemed to come with new paperwork and new headaches. Negotiations eventually broke down. FIFA's president publicly praised Canada's unified no-argument approach, highlighting their willingness to cooperate at every turn. The message was clear: Canada was ready to play ball, while the US simply wasn't willing to bend. The decision was spun as a reward for Canada's cooperation, not a punishment for the US, but the subtext was obvious to everyone watching. But the reality was clear. The US lost the World Cup for failing to meet FIFA's demands, and the disappointment was palpable across the country. The fallout was immediate and brutal, with fans, media, and officials all scrambling to make sense of what had just happened. The world watched as the US was publicly shamed on the global stage, its reputation as a sporting superpower suddenly in question. Meanwhile, Canada was thrust into the spotlight, celebrated as the new face of North American soccer and ready to seize its moment in history. Across the US, the reaction was fury and disbelief. Cities like Dallas faced economic catastrophe. Billions in projected revenue vanished overnight. Local businesses and hotels banking on the World Cup were left reeling. For fans, it was personal. Decades of work to grow soccer in America felt wasted. Supporters groups saw years of planning and anticipation evaporate. The media exploded. Sports talk shows and pundits dissected the failure, blame flying everywhere. The narrative American arrogance cost the nation its dream. Politicians promised investigations, but the damage to prestige was done. To lose out to Canada, a country with a fraction of the population and infrastructure, was a humbling blow. As the US mourned, Canada celebrated. Canada awoke to a football miracle, a moment that would change the nation's sporting history forever. What was once a minor hosting role suddenly became the nation's greatest sporting opportunity, a chance to dream bigger than ever before. The Prime Minister declared Canada ready to welcome the world, promising an unforgettable experience for all. Cities like Montreal, Edmonton, Calgary, and Ottawa scrambled to prepare, assessing stadiums and upgrading vital infrastructure. The challenge was immense, but the national spirit was electric, uniting people from coast to coast. The government launched a World Cup Readiness Fund, fast-tracking upgrades and modernizing transport across the country. For Canada, this was more than a tournament. It was a chance to modernize, inspire, and shine on the world stage. The men's national team was guaranteed a home spotlight, igniting hope in fans everywhere. The country was united by a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, coming together in celebration and pride. Canada's plan was ambitious, truly coast to coast. The opening match would be in Toronto, the final in Vancouver's BC Place. Semi-finals in Montreal and Edmonton promised a national climax. Host cities expanded: Calgary, Ottawa, and even potential upgrades in Hamilton and Winnipeg. The tournament would unite the country, offering fans a cross-Canada adventure. From Halifax to Victoria, the World Cup would showcase Canada's diversity and landscape. Travel distances posed challenges, but the mood was optimistic. Environmental concerns were raised, but the government promised green solutions and lasting infrastructure. The vision a World Cup as a national festival, not just a sporting event. Canada was ready to deliver a tournament with heart and character. The world would soon see a uniquely Canadian celebration. The contrast between the original US plan and Canada's new vision couldn't be starker. It's a tale of two approaches, each reflecting the character of its country and the ambitions behind their bids. The US offered mega-domes, massive crowds, and corporate polish, a World Cup as a Super Bowl on repeat. Everything was designed for scale, spectacle, and seamless production, with every detail meticulously planned for maximum impact. Canada's plan is about adaptation and community spirit. It's about bringing people together, not just for a game, but for a shared experience that feels personal and authentic. Stadiums are smaller, older, but full of character. Each venue tells a story, echoing decades of local passion and history. The experience will be intimate, less corporate, more grassroots. Fans will feel closer to the action, and the energy will be raw and genuine. The economic vision has shifted from maximizing profits to nation building. Canada sees this as a chance to invest in its people and its future, not just its bottom line. Canada's investment will leave a legacy: new infrastructure, upgraded stadiums, and a footballing footprint in new regions. The benefits will ripple out, inspiring young athletes and communities for years to come. For fans, it's a different adventure: longer journeys, but richer cultural experiences. Each city offers its own flavor, inviting visitors to explore Canada's diversity along the way. The tournament's identity has changed, from overwhelming power to plucky determination. It's about heart, resilience, and the joy of the underdog. International fans may find this more endearing: a festival, not a spectacle. The atmosphere will be welcoming, vibrant, and full of surprises. The US would have delivered perfection. Canada promises an unforgettable, uniquely Canadian adventure. It's a chance to see soccer through a new lens, in a land known for its warmth and hospitality. The World Cup's heart has moved north. The spirit of the game is finding a new home, and the world is invited to join in. The legacy will be felt for generations. Young Canadians will grow up dreaming bigger, inspired by the world's game on their own soil. Canada is building more than a tournament, it's building a football nation. The world is watching, and a new chapter in soccer history is about to be written. This stunning turn has redrawn football's map in North America. For the US, it's a moment of reckoning. Financial might and stadiums weren't enough. The US must rebuild its relationship with FIFA and find new ways to grow the game. MLS now carries the torch for American soccer's future. For Canada, it's a once-in-a-generation catalyst. The World Cup will inject funding, attention, and passion at every level. The Canadian Premier League and national teams will thrive. Canada steps out of America's shadow, proving it can host the world. The economic and cultural impact will be felt for years. The 2026 World Cup will still be North American, but its soul is now Canadian. American fans will travel north as guests, not hosts. In football, nothing is guaranteed. The world's biggest party has a new address.